I was talking that whole time with the mic off. No. Okay, so let me go backwards. Um, so the schedule is up on my Twitter. You can see it there. Thursday will be Spirit City Lo-Fi sessions. Saturday will be my collab with Ocha Pup. We're going to be drinking tea and rating Japanese Kit Kats. And we'll also be playing Supermarket together. And we will also be playing or continuing. Sorry, it's been a long day at the Dragon Doctor's office. Playing more Layers of Fair on Sunday. Another thing I want to share is if you see my pinned comment, I added some sound alerts and some channel redeems. Bits should be working if you want to use them. If not, that's okay. I'm not too concerned about bits right now, other than that you have the option to... There's some redeem options available now. So if you're interested, you're welcome to do that. And otherwise, let's continue the Stanley parable. I booted it up again, and it does look like kind of like it's setting off. It's going to be continuing from where we left off, hopefully. I really want to play through the reassurance bucket segment. So we'll see. We'll see how far we get. And, yeah. So, you know what? Let's get started. I'm going to switch to the game. And I'll hide my wings so they're not in the way. And then, let's see. Game captcha. All right. Now, is that going to work? Yes. Okay, perfect. So it does look like it's going to be continuing from where we left off, which is awesome. When I started the game to set it up, I put in the time again, and it gave me that whole thing about how, oh, you were so conscientious, you set the correct time. I should have saved that, but I just wanted to make sure things were working. So let us continue. All right. I'm gonna skip. We already know. We know. Quit the game and then start it again. Oh, I got an achievement. All right, so we're back in Stanley's very sad office. Oh. Yeah. Sometimes I look at this and I kind of relate. Oh, awesome! Hi, Gaspin. How you doing? I'm glad somebody was able to test that out. Great. I'm glad it works. Did you guys hear it okay? Hopefully. Okay. So we're gonna keep going and see what happens. Okay, definitely continued from where we... Oh, okay. I'll have to adjust the volume on those. I'm still trying to figure out all the scuff with that. So, I heard something very quiet. So, yeah, I'll work on adjusting that for you guys. I also have, in the channel redeems, I have a sound alert in there too. Or a couple of sound alerts in that one. The game audio is muted. Okay. Oh, yep. Maybe that's why you didn't hear. Oh, yeah. Sound alerts. Yeah. Interesting. alerts. Yeah, I'll work on the sound alerts. I'm still testing things out, so thank you for letting me know. We'll work on the sound alerts. Okay. Do you hear the music now for the game? Let me know. Perfect. Okay. Bucket. Bucket. Bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Bucket. Whee. Bucket. Oh, wait. Wait, what? That? Huh. Interesting. I guess I can't run in circles with the bucket. Whee! Bucket! Okay. Okay, wait, where am I going? This way. I think. This way? You know, it seems really dangerous to me to leave those drawers open. Like, those things can fall over if they're too heavy in the front, so... Not good OSHA compliance.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Let's go left. Let's go left. Let's see what happens. You know, it'd be fun if they had those posters, like those motivational posters.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Yeah.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Yes, perhaps. Okay. Employee. Jim. Jim doesn't even have a designation for his door. He's just Jim. Complete today's unfinished agendas. Write next day's agenda. Reflect. The future was yesterday, tomorrow is now. Ooh, okay. Oh, there's some kind of architectural... What kind of job is this? Like, I don't even know. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. If I hire someone to fire... How do you synergize papers? Oh, please no more charts, please. I'm begging, stop. What was that? Boss appreciation minute, solving interpersonal conflict. Sometimes it feels like, oh, they misspelled yourself. What are your dreams for the future? Transcend about mitosis. Pollution. Talk less, do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no expectation of promotion or recognition. Don't get fired. I want to see if that other screen comes up about slides. That was weird. Like, using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header. Calm and productive work environments. Everyone is unique. Yeah, everybody looks so unique in that picture. So unique. So very unique. Number of slides. Charts, slides, charts, and slides. Okay. Read out which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Rates of increase in graphs per slide. Please, no more charts. Please, I'm begging. Stop. Okay. All right, let's go. I wonder what that says back there. Top priority. Monetize free to play. Okay. Yeah, that's how everything works. Broom closet. Do you want to see the broom closet? Bucket, look! It's the broom closet!
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No!
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy.
What?
It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
How
I can
dare
really feel
it?
it. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Yeah.
You can't hand it over.
No, it's my
getting into
bucket.
name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this
We were
stream of
friends.
petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
We were going
Stanley,
to
I never liked
redecorate
this
you.
broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined.
Oh no.
And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
What?
That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Broom closet. We were friends. I was going to paint you.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
How cruel. I'm so upset. Broom
All
closet,
right,
we were
I've got
friends.
a second sticker back here, and
You
I'm going to
do?
slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate.
I like stickers.
You see? I
Bucket.
feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
Yay!
That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and
It's
say
an
to
honorary
yourself,
memorial
"Oh, it's a bucket."
bucket sticker.
There really is a wide variety of applications for this
It's
sticker.
like getting a stamp on your passport. Okay. All right, let's go.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us a silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You're coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Wait, do I want to try going downstairs? Did I go downstairs last time? Bucket, would you like me to take a look at downstairs? We can have a little trip. Look!
You found one of them.
Yay!
One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job
is the
well done. You
reward.
can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Of Taste the Sequel in the background. Yay! Okay, let's look around. Let's go this way.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley.
Yeah, what occurred
Maybe,
to Stanley?
he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
I am carrying a bucket.
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
But
Surely
it says
no
my
good
name
would
on
come
it.
from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations
the
Stanley
bucket?
might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
What?
Indeed. Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd.
No.
And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Oh no, not again.
Gracious, he
No
exclaimed.
bucket.
Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
I am mad.
Where is it? I
Where
must
is it?
find it.
Where?
Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Bucket?
Stanley! Stanley, it's me!
Wait,
The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley!
Oh my
Find
gosh.
me.
Wait.
He had to find the
Wait.
bucket. He had to return to his
No.
old friend. It was
Where's
the
my
only way to
friend?
truly restore his sanity. And
It
then
has my
suddenly,
sticker on it.
he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
No. That can't be true.
This is the story of a woman named
Oh, it's
Mariella.
Mariella again.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
She
She
gonna find my
arose,
dead body on the ground
dressed,
again.
picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on
Wait.
this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man
She's stealing
who
my
had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem
Is that
was.
my sticker?
This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be,
My
Mariella thought.
bucket.
And she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything.
I feel
Heck
so
yes, she
lost.
thought to herself. My life kicks ass.
Well, good for you,
and
Mariella.
she backflipped all the way to work.
That's impressive. Maybe she took gymnastics when she was young. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting today. Figure Finders Committee in the meeting room. There's my bucket! Isn't there something where you...
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
I'm suspicious. I'm not sure I trust that. I feel like there's something that happens with one of the doors. I can't recall though. Okay, let's continue. Let's go upstairs to the boss's office. Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
All right. Boss's office. Upstairs. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go indeed. I'm going to stop messing with those. Let's go through here. There will be a reward for finding them all. Wait. Warehouse access plan. Produce one plank to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow collection of shiny float. Retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. We need more planks. Oh my, what's going on? What is all this? Trust the completionist instinct. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I do have a completionist instinct. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? The investigation, this room, they feel pointless, TBH. Weird spinning figurines. Ooh, someone in cargo room. Can we sell them? Yes. Do we need contracts for them? NDA, potential liability. Goodness, didn't they outlaw NDAs in the US? Was it all states or was it certain states? Ooh, an artist's rendering. Magic. Why floating magnets? Training exercise by management. Dreams. Should we make them Lamptochies? Interns? Yes. Shall we make them interns? Oh, should we make them employees? What do they want? Our data, stock options, money. Okay. Wow, this is crazy. What we know. Alright, agenda. How can you tell you spotted one? What makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures of them? Is that supposed to be me? Am I Stanley or am I Jim? Fig leaves are hard to find. Follow clues provided by employee 416. We can do it. Red room. Red room. Thank you. Good luck. In quotation marks. Okay. Oh, there. How can we find them? Bottom text. They didn't fill it all out. We look. Small floating objects have appeared across the office. We have to synergize our resources to ensure their retrieval. There are many questions. There was no memo from management. Okay. How can you tell you spot one? What makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures of them? Who indeed? Who indeed? Okay. Yes, we must learn all about them. Maybe we are the collectibles. Shut the frick up. Difficult findings. To whom it may concern, I managed to pick up sounds unusual to our regular office ambiances. Our local audio sources using an array of cardioid microphones, also known as directional mic, a microphone which picks up sounds from a particular area. Analytics of the recordings allowed me to triangulate the source of the strange noise. Data shows that in all likelihood it's coming from a dark area behind a very warm place. I also picked up what looks to be a reverberance off a porcelain surface. Anyone have any leads on this? Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know? Yeah, I would like to know. Look, they're so cool. Oh my gosh, they look just like me. They are very Stanley. Hang on. Wait, what does that say? Where are they? Please, do not leave the office before reporting back on any new fightings. Teamwork and communication are of great importance during this unprecedented time of investigation. Thank you. I can put them all in my bucket. Let's find them. And ignore the broom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I think there's one in the bathroom. I'm going in the bathroom because it looked like a picture was taken in the bathroom. To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. Yee.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. There really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Yay! Now I'm wondering if Human Nephew got to this point in the game with the bucket. Did he? Did he? Okay. Let us continue. Let us continue with our bucket.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Are there any
Crushed by the
submarines
weight
in
of this
here?
revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of
True.
the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos.
Thank you, bucket.
It would be with him always.
Always.
The bucket would. And he knew it.
Always.
The two of them were inseparable.
Inseparable.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Oh, you know what? What if we could pour Chianti into the bucket? I bet the bucket would like that. Was it 2845? Ooh.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Oh,
Yes,
bucket.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yay. Yay, bucket. Yay. I am not alone. Yay. I have a friend with me. I'm happy. I have bucket. Ooh, another Stanley.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines. And now
Yay,
I'm torn
just
between
two more.
Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small
Figlies or
number in the corner of your
Stanlerines?
screen go up by one? Let me sit on it.
Look at how
I'm
happy
sure it
the
will come to me.
Stanlerine looks. Or the Figly. Whatever you want to call it. The happiness is so palpable. Okay, so I don't think I can go anywhere back there, so it's time to go down. Whee! Can I go up? I think I can. Yep, I can only go down. It's okay.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
Okay.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
All right.
The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Of course it will. Because I have my friend, the bucket. We'll go to the bar later, have a nice drink.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
You know what? Should I go to the escape first? I feel like I need to find the other Stanlerines. Or Figlies. Let's try the
Although
escape.
this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Would we? Would we?
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Really?
At this point, Stanley and the
so?
bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death
Is
for
that
each
true?
of them.
Let's go back. Let's go back. I just wanted to check to see if a Stanlerine or a Figly or a Figstelline or a Stan Fluriter thing of sorts. Yeah. Little miniature Stanleys. Or maybe their gym. Maybe we're all
But of
just...
course, Stanley and the bucket thought
Jim.
better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for.
Okay. Bucket.
The lights rose on an enormous
Oh
room
my.
packed with television screens.
What do you
What
think,
horrible
Bucket?
secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
you think, Bucket? What do you think about this place? We've been here before, but yeah. Let's see. Anything you can do over here? No. There's a list of numbers. There's employee observation protocol. There's a bunch of employee observation protocols. And data points. Interesting. So, I wonder what this business is for.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley
Fired.
nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Is anything
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears
Bucket,
as
it's
Stanley cradled it
okay.
gently, reassuring it
did
that
nothing
everything would be
wrong.
fine.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. We're buddies. We'll figure it out. It's you and me, pal. We're gonna make it through. Did you see that? There was a drawing. A little red drawing somewhere. Wait, show us again. Show us everything. See? Look at that happy little red little drawing guy right above you. See? Everything's okay. We'll be okay. I'm sure we'll be okay. Right? We'll be okay?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence
No,
as
you're
well?
okay.
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to
Oh,
do?
no.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or
Is the
not want
bucket
to do in the
traumatized?
first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble
Do I
mind.
need to get therapy for the bucket? Oh, poor bucket. Oh.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He
bucket wants
squeezed
to
the
be filled
bucket
with hope.
tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
It's okay, bucket. We'll get through this.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They
against the
high-fived in a really
world.
cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Yeah, let's show it. Let's show the man what we can do. Yeah, we can stick it to the man. Here, let's see. Can we go up here? Wait, we can't go up the stairs? Why not? Is it blocked? I guess it's blocked. Can we go? I think that's where we came in. Can we... Ooh, can we go down? Ooh, it's like the hole. No, let's go up. Let's go up and over. Wee. We'll go to the power facility. Okay. We're gonna go through. We're gonna do this. We still have some figurines or Stanley's or whatever they're called now. Line controls idle, awaiting input.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power,
What if we turned
Stanley
it
and the
on?
bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
What if we turned it on? I think last time we were in here, we turned it off. What if we turned it?
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley
Bucket!
gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
An enormous...
Birds.
Birds!
Silly, silly birds.
Silly birds.
The control buttons became active again.
Silly bird buttons. Okay. Wait. Anything else in here? No. Just silly birds. Ooh. Fly. So many birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all.
Wasn't?
It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly
Is that our
birds
job?
all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along?
Do we help
Stanley
preserve
marveled at the
endangered
metal
species?
genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this
Hummingbirds.
incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place,
Aw.
flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And
Yeah.
Stanley was happy.
Look at the flamingos. So many silly birds. Yay! We'll fill the bucket with birds. Okay, let's see. What else can we do? How about...
All of
find
his
any more
co-workers were
Stanley?
gone. What could it mean?
Ooh.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's avoid the meeting room. We don't need the meeting room. Let's get our buckety friend. Bucket!
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away
Let's go,
as Stanley
bucket.
embraced the bucket.
Let's go.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting
Yeah,
room.
I know.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to
The
him,
bucket was
telling
calling
him
to him.
that the employee lounge was simply the place
Yeah,
to
there might be a Stanley in there.
be. And here
Stanley?
it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes,
Yeah.
Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps
Look how
it truly
chill it is.
was.
We can-
How
we can just sit
insightful
down
the bucket
here.
turned out to be.
And take a rest. It's kind of nice. All right, let's go. Let's go, Bucket. We're going places.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
On his left. But what if I don't want to go to the meeting room? What if I don't want to go to the meeting room? Or what if I want to see if I can find a Stanley over here? Would there be a Stanley? Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. Am I lying? Am I? No, I'm not
No.
lying.
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Okay.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Why would I
It should have
question?
alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley
you
chose
sure?
not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Because why not? I mean, what's a bucket gonna do? Buckets are chill. They just exist.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Dog
Stanley
room
once again
over here.
obeyed blindly.
This room? This room isn't that dark. Oh, that's the dark room. Oh, should we go in, Bucket? Should I trust you? All right.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Oh,
Pick
well,
up the phone,
okay.
and it will take us back home, where we can go about life.
we could go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then,
Okay.
very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Of course. Is this my house? This is a much better house than we had before. The beige pages. So it's not the white pages. It's the beige pages. Ooh, look, there's my briefcase. And that's the same picture I have in my office. This is actually pretty nice. Nice comfortable chair. Some nice decorations. I'd put some more books out, though. Just being me, you know, I'd have some books. Wow. That's not bad for a little apartment. I mean, the walls could use some painting. They're kind of scuffed, but, you know. Sunset. TV. That's pretty nice TV. Can I open the door? Oh, you know what? Here. Let's hang out together, Bucket. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your Bucket. Press C to take me to work with you. Okay. Let's go to work.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship.
Okay.
It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Narrator. You know that's nonsense. That's not true. The bucket is our friend. The bucket speaks truth. The bucket is a philosopher on the level of Kant and Nietzsche. The bucket knows. The bucket knows all. Ha ha ha. Oh wait, there's Bucket again. Hi, Bucket. Wow, were you waiting for me in my office? That was so kind of you. You're so patient. Press L to take me back home with you. Here, let me walk around a little bit. But I will press L. I will eventually. Oh, I can't. So let's press L. Boop.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well?
No.
To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object?
No.
I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him.
It's okay.
I don't know if he'll listen to me.
It's okay. It's just a bucket. What harm can a bucket do? What harm can believing a bucket can talk would do? Alright, let's go back to work. Yeah, this is really not a bad apartment at all. I don't mind it. It's nice and open. I mean, I wouldn't mind a bigger kitchen, honestly. Just a little more space for cooking. But it's really not that bad. Like, and if you could get an apartment like that for like $500 a month, that would be
Try
awesome.
anyway. Stanley, can you hear me?
No.
Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk.
No.
All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid
Hey,
from one
you
location
can put lots
to a
of things
different
in a bucket.
location.
You
That's
can
it.
put sand.
It doesn't
Sand isn't
do
liquid.
anything else.
Sand isn't a liquid. What? Ah, there. Hey, Bucket. Don't listen to the loud man. Press R for us to go back home. Okay. Well, we're good. We're good. Let's press R.
You see, he's not
Oh, it's
listening.
nighttime.
He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This
Hey.
stupid hunk of metal.
Bucket? Where's the bucket? Oh, thank goodness. There you are. You shouldn't. You should not hang out on the stove. That's not a good place for you, Bucket. You should go to sleep. Oh, press. Okay, yeah. I don't really need to listen to it. Yeah.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore.
I mean, I have Bucket.
From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty
It's not
bucket.
cold.
This sort of
It's
shiny
not empty.
bucket.
Look, it's right here.
Well, I'll give it this.
It's
The
filled
bucket
with
does have a
air.
nice shine to it.
It does. Yeah, I believe you're real. Why wouldn't I believe you're real? Bucket? Why would you question that? Why would I question that?
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like
It's
your
not
average
average.
hardware store bucket.
It's a
It's
special
just
bucket.
a little more, what am I
It
trying
has
to say?
stickers.
Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid.
Yeah.
Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to
or
another.
rocks. Let's keep going.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's
so much more than just a regular
Because
bucket.
it is. It has stickers. Press H to go home, to work, to home, to work, to home, to work, to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings.
You are not
The
allowed
bucket.
to have feelings
no,
for the
no,
bucket.
No. What's going
Not
on?
you,
Why do I
narrator.
want
That
to
is
be with
my
the bucket?
bucket.
Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing.
Maybe the bucket
Yes.
is
The
going
bucket
to
could
get
tell
me
me what to
into,
do
like, you
in
know,
this
like
troublesome
a
situation.
multi-level marketing thing. Yeah, maybe some Amway. Bucket, did you set all this up for us? A passionate night of bucketing with Bucket? Look. Oh my gosh, look. Look at that portrait of Bucket. That is a gorgeous portrait of Bucket. Bucket. We should have some books up there too. Bucket. Thank you.
Stanley, give me the bucket.
No.
Give it to me. Give me the bucket,
No.
Stanley.
No.
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it
No.
or I'll...
No. Bucket. Go back. But who's telling me to go back to work? Who? How dare they? Bucket? Bucket? Where are you, Bucket?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket? Why did things change again?
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Here. Do. Let's go right again.
Stanley clutched the bucket
Isn't there
tightly
another
to his...
direction
This
we
was
could
not
go?
the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him
course.
that the employee lounge
Of
was
course.
simply the place
We'll go
to
to the
be.
employee lounge.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this
No.
better than the meeting
Maybe.
room? Yes, Stanley thought to
don't know.
himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was.
Maybe.
How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
We're gonna keep going.
No, never mind.
We're
The
gonna
bucket
keep
was
going.
wrong.
I'm
Stanley
gonna go
took the
this
door on
way.
his left to go
No.
back to the meeting room.
No. Oh no. We already went through here, so let's go this way through the meeting room.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite
Ooh.
door.
Can we go this way? Eee. Look, Bucket! We're taking a ride!
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here.
Yay.
I knew you'd find this place eventually.
It's the baby!
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley.
Are these my friends?
We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's
I
this
don't
bucket you're
understand.
carrying around everywhere. The
What's
bucket
wrong with
isn't
my
even from
bucket?
the original Stanley parable. It's just sequel content.
What?
We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic
Oh.
characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the
Adventure
Broom
Line?
Closet. Because
Broom
that's what
Closet?
fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen
What's wrong
before.
with the bucket?
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
No, I'm not.
Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could
Why?
make the Adventure Line go somewhere
told me
new.
to ignore
Yes,
the
yes,
Adventure
that's what the
Line.
fans want. Let's do it.
Oh, there's the fern. But you guys really... Are you going to betray me like this? Oh my gosh, it really is the broom closet. Broom closet? Computer? Mannequin? Table? Baby? The doors? Alright. Okay.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Okay.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. What are you, narrator, what are you talking about? I don't understand. What are you trying to get at, narrator? What? Huh? I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Just me and my bucket. We're happy.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
What?
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
What?
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
I
Surely
think
you
it's
don't need
obvious.
me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying
Well,
buckets
that's your
is all
problem.
it knows.
I
That
didn't
is
make
its
it.
singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved
No.
Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer,
This thing's
you would
scary.
see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits.
I'm
What
not
other
sure I
object in this
believe you.
game can you even say that about? The broom closet?
is
Certainly not.
problematic.
I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it.
No.
We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket.
No.
Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it for the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and crush.
That was your fault, narrator. Oh my gosh, so dramatic.
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with
No.
you, tell such spell-binding stories about you.
No.
All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here,
Friends don't try to
You
destroy your
were
other friends.
magnificent.
You know, what kind of friendship is that? Very sad, but, I mean, I'm not sure I want a friend who would make my other friends feel bad. So, I don't know. Alright, let's see. Let's continue. Let's continue. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket, let's go.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Alright. So, I think we exhausted all the options on the right.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the
Take the
door on
left
his
again.
left.
Me, 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 me. Do, 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 do. Anything new in? Oh yes, I need to find the rest of the Stanley, or the Stanlerines. Stanlerines, where are the rest of you? Is the one in the broom closet? Do you have a Stanlerine?
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers.
I just wanted
If
to
I
check if there was
did,
a
you can
Stanlerine.
guarantee we'd be in here for hours.
50.
But alas, no stickers.
That's fine. I'm not looking for stickers. I'm looking for Stanlerines.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh. No, we went through the... Oh, no, we didn't, because we didn't go through here to look for Stanley.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing
Let's
his
see if we can
boss,
find another
admitting he had
Stanley.
left his post during work hours.
Or a
He might be
Figley.
fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am
But
crazy.
aren't we
He
all
looked down at the bucket in his
a little
arms.
mad
Am
here?
I crazy? He asked
I
the
mean,
bucket.
let's
The
be
bucket
real.
returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
We've
Not
all been
strange,
going
Stanley
through
thought.
something
Usually
past
the
few
bucket
years.
is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in
If we don't all
difficult
at least have
times such as
adjustment
these.
disorder, I'd
He
be
held the
surprised.
bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized,
Yeah.
this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is
No,
all
it says
terribly
property
wrong.
of
Surely
Stanley.
no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
That's too bad.
Indeed. Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Oh, bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room,
Wait.
passing by one bucket
Wait.
after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
Wait, what about...
He had to find the
Did
bucket.
bucket
He had to
help his
return to his
coffee?
old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his
No.
sanity. And then suddenly,
No.
he froze dead in his tracks.
No.
He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
No.
The real bucket
Maybe it
was
really
inside of him
inside of
all
me.
along. It was
Maybe,
incredibly
maybe I
painful.
am my own friend.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Okay. It's a fake. Maybe we should throw it
This is
in
the story of a woman named Mariella.
Yeah, I know Mariella. Mariella, that's fine.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
Yes, she did.
She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Okay,
But on this
Mariella.
particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Sure can.
Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket.
I know.
Of course he'd gone mad,
You stole my
ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket
No.
with him. Perhaps
No.
he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place.
Buckets
How
aren't
cruel
real.
the world can be, Mariella thought.
It's fake.
And she hugged her own bucket
How dare.
even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work,
Yeah.
for which her bucket would provide absolute
Absolute
guidance and total clarity on
clarity on
everything.
everything.
Heck yes, she thought to herself.
My life
life kicks ass.
ass.
And she backflipped all the way to work.
I hope she didn't hurt herself backflipping. All right. Next time we're gonna destroy it. I think it's time. I think it's time.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Oh, yes.
But Stanley
I'm sorry,
had
I
felt
meant
the
to go
bucket
to the
calling
meeting
to
room.
him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it
No,
was.
we're going
Had the
through
bucket
here.
turned
No,
out to be
we
correct?
skip it.
Was no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Yep.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Yep. Let's go upstairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket
Where
walked
did we go
upstairs
last
to the
time?
boss's office.
Oh, you know what? We should have gone the other way. We should
Stepping
have gone the
into
other
his
way.
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned
Yeah,
to discover not
2,
an indication of any
8,
human life.
4.
Crushed by the weight of this, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer
Yeah,
luck.
yeah.
Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Let's see
Was the
here.
bucket guiding him? Yes,
Yeah.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Alright. I think I should have gone the other way. Because I think we're starting to get into repetition here. La 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 la. Unless we find a Stanley.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
let's just
Mind
escape.
Control Facility.
Whee! Escape,
Although
escape,
this
escape.
passageway had the word escape written
Yeah,
on it,
that's
the truth
fine.
was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and
Maybe
the
that's
bucket
where there's
would both
Stanley.
meet a violent death.
Maybe that actually was one there.
The door
Said something
behind
about
them
a
was
red
not
room.
shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get
Red
back
room.
on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly
red,
walking
run red,
forward
red
into
rum,
a very
red rum.
painful death for each of them.
It's fine. Let's go. Whoosh. Okay, well, I guess not. Or no? Oh my. Bucket. Are we okay?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death?
Yeah,
This is
I don't
what Stanley
know.
thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
But
Farewell,
gotta be something
Stanley.
about the bucket.
Farewell, Stanley, cried
It's
the narrator,
her.
as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
How tragic. I think that the bucket was meant to have a tragic life. A life of shame.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a
pretty
glorious bucket to behold.
True. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You're standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind that may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourselves and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? It's deep, people. Ooh, look at the chair. Chair! Bucket, what are you going to tell us about yourself? in
Can
this
you
lovely
see how
exhibit?
arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his
There's so
own?
many.
Can you see the hubris that blinded him?
No.
Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be
That
in
looks like
his
more than
short
25
life?
buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. Buckets. Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains. no one can control a bucket. Yeah, that was way more than 25 buckets. Hang on, let's look at the rest of the stuff down here. Is this the Vitruvian bucket? A bucket with 2 handles. Brilliant. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Oh my. Is that Da Vinci's bucket? Alright, let's go this way. Let's go to the stress bucket. Okay. The stress bucket, an analogy. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Vulnerability equals the size and strength of the bucket. Stress, the level of water in the bucket. Coping strategies equals holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. The stress bucket, presented without commentary. I could fill that bucket with all of my stress. That would be nice. Oh my. Look at that. Look at that glorious cave drawing of buckets in use. Buckets are special. Okay. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. What a nobility. The nobility of buckets. Look at how noble that bucket is. It has saved them from a leak in their cave. And it has fed the deer, or antelope, or whatever creatures they are. Holy bucket! Oh, look! Transporting stuff with bucket. Yay!
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
True. The hanging bucket. It's glorious. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there's yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Okay. Bucket. I love you, bucket.
But there is something we can do.
Is there?
Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Is that so?
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
No.
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Oh! No. What? Okay, I want to get rid of that bucket.
All of
I'm
his
done.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply...
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled.
Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
It's okay. Oh. No, we were gonna... Oh, can I go back? I think I was gonna go on the right. Oh, no. No. Okay. Oh, was it at the end of the mind control facility? Is that what it was? I can't remember. I can't remember anymore. I'm getting so turned around. Alright, let's
Coming
go.
to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, we're going through.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright,
This is certainly the most logical
Let's
explanation.
get out of here. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Mind control facility. Let's go. Yeah, I was supposed to go the other way. I forgot. We'll go right next time. So we can destroy it.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Oh, there's still a different ending than this one, so that's good. It's okay. It's okay, Bucket. Let's go.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly
Jumped to
dropped the
life.
bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped,
That's okay.
monitored like guinea pigs.
They'll
The bucket
survive.
had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would
It's
be
okay,
fine.
Bucket. They're there.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Show me on this
Kinds
doll
of
where they
things
touched
does a
you,
bucket
Bucket.
want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Alright, let's try to...
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
Never. Never.
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
Only
At this
friend.
point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
I don't know about this Bucket. I don't know. Alright.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human
Right.
life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
Let's do it this
Two
time, Bucket.
best
Let's
friends,
turn it off.
Stanley and the bucket, up against
Let's
the
go,
world.
Bucket.
They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Let's go, Bucket. Down the system. Down at the establishment. Power to the people.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Yeah.
Was it over?
Was it?
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had
We did
defeated
it
their
together.
greatest and darkest enemy,
High five,
freed
Bucket.
themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine.
Tyranny.
Freedom was now mere
Tyranny.
moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate.
Oh, nice.
Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Yes.
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie,
192
any movie,
countries?
but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple
That's
life they
interesting.
envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
What?
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket. needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths
But
not to
no!
part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this
my
building has
friend.
anything to say about it. Stanley
my
realized
friend.
he would never again
My
leave this very
precious.
room. But at least
My-
he has the bucket.
My precious.
To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself.
Is
As
it?
long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Okay. Oh my. That was harsh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
Okay, get
meeting
rid of this
room.
bucket.
Perhaps he had sent a
Let's
good
get rid
bucket,
of the bucket.
a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Distinction. Or is it? Wait, we're going a different direction. Oh, no, it's just...
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yep.
And
All right.
here it was. Had the bucket turned
There we
out to be
go.
correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Let's go. Let me see if I can get out of the bucket loop.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here.
Nice.
I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Okay, alright, I remember you guys. We're good. I'll follow
You
the
see,
adventure
your
line.
friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley.
Yeah.
We've come together here because we care about
Yeah,
you
I
very
know.
much.
I'm concerned about the bucket,
It's
too.
this bucket you're carrying around
I'm
everywhere.
it's starting to give
The
me
bucket
the
isn't
heebie-jeebies.
even from the original Stanley Parable.
I
It's
know.
just sequel content.
You're right.
We're the
You-
ones that matter, Stanley.
You are
Classic
so right.
characters from the first game, like the Adventure
You've been
Line
here
and the
for
Broom
me
Closet.
always, baby.
Because that's what fans want
Always.
from a sequel. They
See, I
want
didn't
more
even
of their
burn you
favorite
this
jokes,
time.
not this bucket
And
that they've never seen
mannequin,
before.
Like, you're so reliable.
Yes, I know I'm
and
the one who
sturdy.
gave you the bucket, but you're spending
Broom
too much
closet.
time with
We've
it.
had good times.
Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the
Computer,
Adventure
pencil
Line go
sharpener.
somewhere new. Yes,
Good.
yes,
Let's
that's
go.
what the fans
Let's
want.
go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to
Wacky
next?
line.
Oh, and it played some silly
Adventure
music as well.
line, Silly music. Let's go. Whoosh.
Now this is what the Stanley
Yeah.
Parable is all about.
go.
Don't you remember all those great
Let's
jokes from the
go.
original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yeah.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was
Yeah,
back
I'm
then.
not sure
Let's
I
do
have
it
that
for the
problem.
fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this.
Let's do
But
it.
if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Yeah.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get
No,
rid of the
you're
bucket.
right.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
I know.
This is the Bucket Destroyer.
I think you're right. I've been
I think
relying
it'll
on
make a
this bucket
wonderful
too long.
new
It's a
addition to
crutch
the
now.
rich lore of the Stanley Parable.
It's a
True,
crutch.
it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well fleshed out character with
such
so
a
much
crutch.
personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Yeah. I think you're right.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
Yeah.
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for
I
you.
mean, it's obvious.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket,
See
and
you,
then pop
bucket.
it into the machine when you're ready.
We'll recycle you. We'll be recycled.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Stop looking at me,
Sure,
bucket.
I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one
No.
personality trait deserve
No,
to join
you're
the
going in,
pantheon of
bucket.
beloved Stanley Parable characters?
You're going
Well,
in.
you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket
Yeah.
Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so
Stop
densely
looking at me
loaded
like
with
that.
complexity and nuance that it's
Stop
really
it.
like 10 personality traits. What other object in
Come
this
on.
game can you
Go
even
in.
say that about?
Go
the
in,
Broom
Bucket.
Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what
Bucket.
sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise
Stop
the
it.
fans will be clamoring for after this.
Stop Stop.
Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting
Bucket?
very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley
trying.
Parable characters like the Adventure
Stop
Line or
it,
the Bucket
Bucket.
Destroyer until
Get
you
in there.
crush that damn bucket.
No.
Quickly
Get
now.
in there.
The fans are waiting.
Get in
Do it,
there.
the fans,
I'm doing
Stanley.
it.
Give the fans what they want. Hurry and
I'm clicking. I guess the bucket doesn't want to go in.
The Bucket
Was that
Destroyer.
wrong?
My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
I just wanted
For
to
the moment in
escape.
time that you were here, you were
No.
magnificent.
All right, I'm gonna leave the bucket behind next time. I don't think I need. I think I'm okay. I think I know that all my strength can come from within. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yes. Yes. All right.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Okay. No, bucket, you can stay there. Yeah, that's gonna be the desk of the office Joker with the who farted mug. Okay. I'm gonna leave the bucket behind.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Sure.
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Now I'm going forward.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
No,
fired years
we're
ago.
fine.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off
Can
on
I
the
go
wrong
off the
foot
edge?
here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
To this-
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the
area
fact
below.
is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten
2, 3.
about.
Go.
Really?
Yes.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for
Yes.
others? Are you that convinced that
done
I want
this
something
yet.
bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something
we're gonna do
beautiful.
some fun.
Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Danger
Give me a
everywhere.
chance.
We haven't been in here before. Ooh, 2B1. Ooh, let's see. Ooh, 2B3. No buckets. Well, I don't have a bucket with me.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
The Stanley!
You're getting close now, Stanley.
more!
You've nearly gotten all
One
of the
more!
Fiddler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
Perfect.
We'll be different people by then.
True.
Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And
And now
now
we
we
have
have
them
them
all.
all. You
Yep.
can't go back to when you had no Fiddler and Marines. None of us can.
Right. Right. It's a pretty cool experience. I'm gonna take the blue room.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Fine.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley?
No.
I wanted to stop.
No.
We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here,
What solution?
let me show you.
What solution?
What do we want? What are
what?
we looking for?
Okay. What is this? Beautiful.
Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
Pretty.
I actually feel happy.
Aw. Well, I'm glad you feel happy, narrator. Maybe you won't speak as much, and then I can speak. You know? I can talk about things because, yeah, the narrator's chilling out. Oh, look. Look. Oh, so pretty. Lovely. Oh, look, it's like a big donut in the sky. And it's floating away. Goodbye, big donut in the sky. Ooh, it's like Christmas. You're gonna go up there too and be another donut in the sky? Look at how pretty. You gonna continue making sky donuts? Nice. Goodbye, Sky Donut. But I don't think I want to stay here forever. It's pretty, but I mean,
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
but what if there's a Stanley upstairs?
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Why? Why are you so bothered?
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
I guess there's no Stanley. There, narrator, are you happy? Are you happy, narrator? Do you want me to go back? Well, it's pretty, but I mean, come on now. Like, how long can you stay in that place? I think we need to go. We still have Stanley to find. Let's go. Let's go back. Whee! Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay. We're gonna do it. Ready? Close your eyes!
No! Oh, thank God.
Oh.
You lived. You had me worried there for a moment.
That was
Now,
a little jump.
can we please get back to the other room?
No. No. Why? Why would we go? But why would we stay here stuck forever?
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Why? Are you encouraging me to be like the people on the island of the lotus eaters? Where they just sit and eat lotuses? No. 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 I'm going. I'm going.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
I want my freedom. Freedom from oppression.
No, no, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Nothing, because you're keeping me from living my life. You just want me to stay there forever. What kind of life is that?
Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
Oh, this
Can you
is
do that
dark,
for me?
man. No, I don't want to
My
go back
God.
to the other room.
Is this really how much you
I
dislike
don't
my
dislike
game?
it.
That
I
you'll
just-
throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
But your happiness should not be about me. Your happiness should be about yourself.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is
Narrator,
yours.
maybe you're the one keeping me here. Have you thought of that? Is it really kind to keep me here? Is it? Because I don't think it is. Give me my freedom.
Is it over?
Yeah.
It's going to restart, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
going
sorry. I
back.
know you were happy, but this is not the life I need to live.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah. So wait, a large room, lots of boxes. A large room with lots of boxes. Where's there a large room with lots of boxes? Near a fireplace. A large room with lots of boxes. A large room with lots of boxes.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, I should have gone back. Because that's where... Oh, no. Wait, here. No, let's go back. Let's just go through the office. Let's go through the office. I am such a bizarre completionist. Yeah. Let's go through the office. Again.
Stepping into his
4,
manager's
5.
office,
Yeah,
Stanley was once again stunned
yeah.
to discover not an
R2.
indication of any
What
human
about
life.
if we do it backwards?
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
1, 2, 3,
But of course,
4.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
0, 9, 8, 7. 6, 6, 1, 5.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was
fine.
2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random
let's
buttons
go,
on the
let's
keypad,
go.
Stanley happened to input the correct
room
code
with
by
boxes.
sheer luck. Amazing.
Well, that
He stepped
means
into
we
the newly
should-
opened passageway.
We should probably go to the... We go to the right.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
we'll just do
Mind
the
Control
escape
Facility. Although this
Escape,
passageway
escape,
had the word
escape. This round
escape
goes
written
to
on it,
escape.
the truth
Blah, blah, blah.
was that
Yes,
at the
I know.
end of this
I
hall,
know. Yeah,
Stanley
I know,
would meet
narrator.
his violent
Yeah,
death.
I know. I'm trying to get back to the beginning so I can go the way I want to go.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on
I wonder
track.
how many permutations
At this
of
point,
options
Stanley
there
was
are
making
in
a
this
conscious,
game.
concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his
I mean,
death.
don't we all have to confront it at some point? Oh, hey, Austin! Thank you for the raid. How are you doing? Did you have a good stream? So here, let me pause for a second. I think I can do shoutouts, so it's underscore anime. No, that's not the best way to do it. Here, I know there's another way. Let's do a shout out via let's do creator dashboard, stream manager, shout outs, and here there's a shout out button somewhere. No. Okay. I thought there was a shout out button, but I don't know. Anyway, yep, we'll keep going. We'll resume the game.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no
I think
consequence
we'll get the
whatsoever.
last Stanley and
Stanley
then we'll
can't see
stop.
the bigger picture.
I think that
he
would be a
doesn't
good
know
place
the
to
real
stop.
story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss,
La,
like
la,
plucking
la.
the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow
I'm
life.
doing okay.
Farewell, Stanley.
I have had my fun with Bucket.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Well, it said something about a room with boxes. There's some boxes here. But I think it's the other room. I think it's the other room.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Yep.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't know.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Sure.
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Can I leave? We've seen all this stuff. We've seen all this stuff. Let's go. Woot woot. Woot woot. Zoom zoom zoom. The offices. Going around here. We've been through this last time. Oh wait, is that a button? Countdown desk. One of the desks from the early version of the countdown ending. No, I guess I don't get to touch the button. Office clock.
Where he supposed to all of his co-workers. Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him?
Alright, I'm trying to remember where the exit area was here. I guess maybe we can go back this way. Maybe? Oh no. I know there's a way to get out of here. Yeah, I guess it's not. Office. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Warzone. Okay, we already saw that. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Narrator emails. How do you make a JRPG? Okay. Do you pick up the phone? Okay. Oh. Alright. Okay, no. Yeah, how do I get out of here? Vent. Meeting room. How do we get out of here? Part of the Zending. The game is now paused. Exit. Exit! It says exit. Alright.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Free. There we go.
Can you
Woohoo!
see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Yeah, maybe.
No, perhaps not.
I don't know.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
It's a mystery.
But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Okay.
Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
Yeah. Begin the game again. Okay. Alright. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Yeah.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Ah! Didn't mean to do that. I have to add an itchy eye. Itchy eye.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Thought there
and
was
Stanley
something
knew
else
it
that I'd do
perfectly
this
well.
way.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah.
The
The
lounge
employee
was
lounge.
grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open
Yes,
door on his
okay.
left.
I think if we go this
Stanley
way,
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
we'll
fired
find
years
the
ago.
other Stanley. I think we'll find the
Look,
other
Stanley,
Stanley.
I think
Look,
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Look.
I'm not your
Boxes.
enemy, really, I'm not.
Boxes.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can
No.
be... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no
Ugh.
one gets to tell him
I
what to do,
saw.
Stanley leapt from the platform
I saw
and
where the
plunged to his
Stanley
death.
was. Okay.
Good job,
okay.
Stanley.
Okay.
Everyone
we
thinks
can
you
get the
are
last
very
Stanley.
powerful.
I know where it is. Okay. All right. Let's get it. Let's get the Stanley
All of his
or the fig
co-workers
leaf.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No. No. Going to the right.
When Stanley came
Getting
to
the
a set of
Stanley.
2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Stanley.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Stanley.
And here it was, the lounge.
Yeah.
But eager to get back to business,
Stanley.
Stanley took the first open door
No.
on his left.
Goodbye. I saw the Stanley.
Stanley was so bad
I
at following
saw the
directions,
Stanley.
it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
See? It's right there. How do I get over there? Do I go up here? And then... Let's see. Aha. Ooh. The last one!
And there it is.
Yay!
The last Stiggly Wiggly.
Stiggly Wiggly.
Savor this moment, Stanley.
Yes!
This is a
I
real accomplishment.
did it. Maybe
this
it
is
does
doing
work for
something just for
Amazon.
the sake of doing it.
That
Whereas
is
so
a
many
good-
people expect
good
to be
thought
rewarded for the most
there.
trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is
We
its
got
own
it.
reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for
Of
collecting
course
them
you're
all,
proud of
but
me.
that would be like a reward, and we can't have that.
Oh, well,
So,
you're just
instead
being
I'll just
dishonest
say
with
it's
yourself.
done. We're all done here.
We've done
and
it.
now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
All right. Huh. All right. Well, I guess we'll go back. Ooh. Ooh. That was interesting. Ooh. Oh my gosh. I was gonna just, you know,
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten
something
path
different,
that
but-
it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path
Are you okay,
that it
narrator?
seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the
Narrator.
office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was
What?
all just in Stanley's head.
what?
I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling.
all in
It
our
must be
heads.
so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do.
Anything else?
Now I've become sad.
Narrator,
Look what you've
just
done to me.
chill.
This is all your fault.
All right. I think we're gonna do one more ending.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on
What?
things. It's those figurines. Those figlies.
Figlies?
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one.
Okay.
Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
I guess so. I mean,
Yes, I know we're
it's a
supposed to be
collection.
telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
The memory zone?
I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
The new level.
Just one more time.
Oh, one more time in the memory zone. Okay. The memory, I mean, it's lovely. When Stanley, oh, now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Ooh. I mean, we've been here before, but is it different this time? I mean, it's a lovely place to be. I rather like it. Is there something to do with, okay. Interesting.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
I guess. Did we get another one? Okay. Alright. Interesting. We got 7 out of 6. Did we get a double? Okay. Oh,
And
we're
here
going back
was a
everywhere.
second Stanley. I'll be honest,
86.
back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Boss is
Okay,
back.
let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
It was the boss's bathroom. Okay.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised.
I mean-
After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third
Oh,
time
is
doing
it?
anything.
I'm not so sure about that.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a figly in this pink room.
What?
Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No. I mean, it's a cute pink room, I guess. It's a little odd. Okay. There we go.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In
Okay.
fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
How I found it. By the narrator. Yeah, I'm not that good on guitar, unfortunately. Near the red and blue doors. Thanks for watching. That was like very like YouTube video from like 2005.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time
Wait,
making that
where-
video,
did we
but
have
it was
YouTube in
8 minutes I
2005? I
wouldn't
think
have
it was
spent
out
on
in
anything
2004.
else.
Alright. Doesn't matter what door you go through. Okay. Alright. Boxes.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here in the warehouse. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works?
Who
All I
knows?
know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Alright, I'll just go back through the vent. I'm gonna vent, I guess. There we go. You are in the present. Am I looking at now? Is this like the whole scene from
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Goodbye, Memory Zone. Goodbye.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop
What?
the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
What? I don't know.
Okay, yes. This spot in the warehouse. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Can we do something else, please? Narrator, you're a bit obsessed with collectibles. I mean, and these
And
Stanleys
here's
aren't that
where I made that
exciting.
video. Don't you remember the
Yeah,
video we watched?
fine. Yeah, let's. No. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I love that
yeah,
video.
Sure. Whatever. Yeah, I'll just, you know.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Alright, what am I gonna do with all these Stanlerines? In the bathroom.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had
Something
been
on the wall
any
anymore.
kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Okay. Sure. You know what? Sure. What if we go to the... Okay. Maybe not. Okay.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Collect them all. Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? This is kind of obsessive. It's a little weird. Collectibles. Okay. So we went through the collectibles section. Is this the jumping area?
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
I think the narrator's got some kind of weird existential crisis going on. I didn't know.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
And before everything else, there was your office.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
No, not
There's something
really.
I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now.
What
I
do you
remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed
My
each
boss?
decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He
Wait.
would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I
Is the
lonely?
narrator Stanley?
Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be.
Okay.
Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what?
See?
Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley. Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What? Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement?
Yeah, sure.
Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now,
Kenny.
suppose you were to click the door 20 times.
Ooh, 20
I would say
times.
that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. 429, 427. Where's 417? Oh, here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
437. Is it back here? 437? No. 43. No. Oh, no, here. 1, 2. 3.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415. 415. That is the area code for San Francisco. 415. There we go.
Now, back to door number 437.
437. 437. Wait. That was 417. 437. 437. No. Wait, where's 437? There we go.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Where's the copy machine? Copy machine? Copy machine. Ah.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it
417.
now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Okay, 417. 417. 417. Nope, that's 415. 417 is over here somewhere. Yeah. One.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
419. 419. Climb on the desk. Wait, how do I climb on the desk? Wait. How do I climb on the desk? No, I want to get on the desk. What? 419 desk.
Yes!
There we
This
go.
is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
416. 416.
We've almost got
Okay.
it! Now the copy machine, do
Copy
that
machine.
one
Copy
again!
machine. Where's the copy machine? Copy machine. Oh, that was back here, right? Yes, copy machine. Wait.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes! We did it!
We did it!
Oh, wow.
We
That
did
felt amazing.
it! Yay!
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back.
us
Yes, I'm
back.
very proud of how
We're
far we have come
good.
today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little
No,
clicks.
we did a good
Really
job.
now? What were you
So
thinking?
fulfilling. Yes! Okay, now I think we are just going to go ahead, say goodbye to the bucket, bye bucket, and we are going to go to the freedom ending once more.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Whee, everything's
Yet
back
there
to
was
normal.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What you doing, Bloom Closet? How you doing?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet,
But there was
nothing
nothing
here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay, goodbye, broom closet. Here. Weesh.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Upstairs.
upstairs to his boss's office.
Who really is the narrator? Who are we all?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
2,
not an indication of
8,
any
4,
human life.
5.
What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just
Of
let
course
the
I
narrator
didn't.
talk.
Why would I do
That
that?
kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some
Calming
calming new age music.
Oh, hi, T-Turn. Hi, LT. That's right, LT. Oh my gosh. Music, calm down. Yeah, how you doing, LT? Are you doing
Feeling
well?
soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
All right. We are going to do the last ending for tonight. Last ending for tonight. I'm actually getting sleepy. Sleepy time, sleepy time.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Mind
Control Facility.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Just me, no bucket.
The lights rose on an enormous room
Just
packed
me,
with television
no bucket.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Oh, I don't think it's a
Stanley thought
secret
to himself.
anymore.
Did he
I
have
think
the
we
strength
know.
to find out?
Yeah, I think we know. This place is all a ruse. It's a ruse. We know this. We know. Everything's about mind control. Sure. Yeah.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh, freedom means everything. And you have the freedom to choose to have no freedom sometimes.
This mind
Sometimes we
control
choose to
facility,
not
it
be
was too
free.
horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
Yes.
That his emotions had been
Fire.
manipulated to accept
Fire.
it blindly?
Let's go. Let's go.
No. He
refused
refused
to
to
believe
believe
it.
it.
He
He
couldn't
couldn't
accept
accept it. His
Pirate.
own life in
Pirate.
someone else's control? Never.
Is there a pirate
It was
ending?
unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
I'm good, LT.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Let's see.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Alright.
Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it
Okay.
monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
Alright, I'm gonna let you
Stanley
guys make the
decided that
final
this machinery
choice.
would never again
Freedom
exert
ending,
its
or
terrible
whatever
power
this is.
over another human life.
This is the last
For
one for
he
tonight.
would dismantle the controls once and
On.
for all.
Or off. Should we do a... I don't know if we can do a poll. Can we do a poll? On? On. On. Okay.
Oh,
Oh no! Off!
You didn't just activate the
I'm
controls,
sorry.
did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years
I did off
ago
the
and you
first
tried
time.
to
That
take
was my
control
very
of the
first
machine for
playthrough.
yourself, is that what you wanted? Control?
Control.
Stanley,
Control!
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do.
Oh, no.
You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off
And
leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated
No,
the
no,
network's
off,
emergency
off,
detonation
off.
system.
Off.
In the event that this machine is activated without
Without
proper
proper
DNA
DNA
identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
But that's
How
the...
long until
no.
detonation then?
Yeah.
Let's say, 2
Let's
minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You
do
are the
too.
star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what
Okay.
precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood.
Oh,
You're gonna
yes.
die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free.
Is there
Of course,
first
that was
one?
merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
5.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go.
It's 10.
But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
Is there 5?
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley,
What?
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just
purple.
seconds ticking away to
There.
your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless.
Are there any purple
to see
buttons?
you made humble. This is not a
Purple.
challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted
Purple
to
button?
control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
No. Oh, I tried. I really tried. Kind of. I don't know. Alright, we'll do the freedom ending. We'll get out of here. We'll do the freedom ending.
Even
real
now,
quick.
Stanley's
I
office
think
was
we
a
can
distant
speedrun
memory.
it.
What did it look like? There was a
Yeah,
computer,
let's
perhaps,
go. Let's
and a
go.
painting.
Let's go. Let's
Was it a
zoom through.
painting
We'll
or a
zoom through
photo?
really fast.
He
Really
could
fast.
no
I
longer
think you get an
recall.
achievement for doing it really fast. Go
When
to the
Stanley
left.
came to a set of two
Left.
open doors, he entered
Go
the
through.
door on his left.
Quickly, quickly. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I think there is.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's go. Let's go. Zoom, zoom. I'm
Okay, I
impatient.
think we all know the drill by now. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a
Help
new
surprise.
passageway. Quelle
Yes.
surprise.
Okay, let's do it quick. Let's go. Let's go. Fast, 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 fast. Whoosh. Boop. Boop the snoot. Alright, we'll do the freedom ending. We'll do it really quick. And then I'm tired. I need to go to sleep. Whoosh, whoosh.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay. Press the button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
Television
horrible
screens.
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to
Television.
himself. Did he have the strength to
Let's go.
find out?
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Let's do it really, really fast. Real fast. Whoosh. Zoom.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Yeah.
Their
We
true
know.
nature
You know,
revealed.
there's one that says pirate
Each
on
bore
it.
the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced
Come on,
to
come on,
images
come on,
on a
let's go, let's
screen.
go.
And Stanley, one of them,
Oh, have a good
eternally
night,
monitored in
Austin.
this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay. There we go. There we go.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
Zoom,
It couldn't
zoom,
be
zoom.
true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you work.
No,
at
he
jobs.
refused to believe it.
You know.
He couldn't
Sometimes you
accept
just
it.
feel like
His
you're
own
doing
life
it 'cause you
in
have to.
someone else's control? Never.
And not
It was
necessarily 'cause you
unthinkable.
want to.
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Alright.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls
Facility
labeled
power.
with emotions.
We're turning it off.
Happy
We're
or
zooming.
sad
We're
or
zooming.
content. Walking,
Oh, that's fine.
eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of
We're
his
gonna turn it off.
past began
We'll
to
find
sink
freedom.
in,
We'll have the
Stanley
freedom
decided
ending.
that this
We'll do it.
machinery
We'll do it. We'll
would
do it.
never again.
Yay!
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He had won.
We
He had
won!
defeated the machine.
We won!
Unshackled himself from someone
Yes!
else's command.
Freedom was
It's funny
mere
how we get the
moments
freedom
away.
ending after we do everything
And
that
yet,
the narrator
even
tells
as
us
the
to do.
immense door
That's
slowly
not
opened,
freedom.
Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
I think
Where
I got
had his
most of them.
co-workers gone? How had he
don't know
been
where they've
freed from
gone.
the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he
Nah,
realized
nothing
none of this
matters.
mattered to him.
Just
For
look
it
at
was
the
not
sky.
knowledge or even power that he had been seeking,
It's time for
but
Stanley to touch
happiness.
some grass.
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
It will be.
And that was all he needed to know.
The only
It
thing
was
worth
perhaps
knowing.
the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
All right. Look.
Stanley felt the
There's
cool
a parking
breeze
lot
upon
to
his
the
skin, the feeling of liberation,
Freedom.
the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
How lovely.
And Stanley was happy.
Happiness. True happiness. All right. The end is never the end. Yeah, okay. So I think we are gonna quit for the night. And let's see, let me pull up my OBS screen. And we'll go to just chatting for a little bit. Oh, there's my wings. Sorry. So I'm gonna turn this off. And yeah, so I will figure out the sound alerts. My sound alerts. Maybe if I do monitor and output, maybe they will both work. And tracks. Yep. Okay. All right. So next time I'll see if that works, but I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah. So, I think there it goes. There it goes. Green tea too. I had one job. I destroyed everything, but I went through and zipped through, and then we had the freedom ending. So that was great. All right. So now that we have played through pretty much, I think, as far as I'll go with the Stanley Parable, I think that I will try something new next week. I'm gonna try to see if I can ask another one of the authors at Balance of Seven if they'd like to come on for an interview. We recently had oh, that's okay, Giva, you're still here. So I'm gonna ask if the recent book that Balance of Seven published, which is Anti-Hero Blues, I'm gonna see if the author wants to come on for a little interview. If not, we also have another author who wants to do it as well. And I know we might have gotten a request from an author from outside of Balance of Seven who wanted to do an interview as well. So yeah, I love talking with other creative people, and again, like, I don't have to just interview authors. I'm more than happy to interview artists. Oh, Subnautica, that I don't have that one. I'll have, or at least I might. I'll have to look. I have so many games that I need to play. I do have some other games already loaded. Already downloaded on my computer. I do have Okami. I have Pal World, which I've never tried before. I know people are playing that a lot. I could go back to Smushy Come Home. I do have Monster Prom, which I would like to do as a collab. And, you know, I'm going to pull up my Steam list. Let's see. What do I have? I could tell you some of the ones I have. Let's see. I think it would be fun, actually, to do a playthrough of I Love You, Colonel Sanders. That would be hilarious. Let's see. Oh, I have the Backrooms Lost Tape. I was watching somebody's playthrough of that recently. I have... What else do I have? Closing Shift, The Complex Found Footage, Conrad Stevenson's... I'm going to save the horror games for Sundays. Let's see. I have Death Stranding. That's a game I've wanted to play for quite a long time. And I have the director's cut, so that might be a good one. I also have some funny ones like Donut County, I have Dream Daddy. It'd be fun to do Escape Simulator with some friends. And, gosh, yeah, I have a lot of Backrooms games that I want to do. But I think I'll keep Tuesday nights for kind of more chill games like Frog Detective. Or, what else do I have? Oh, I have the EDF. Do I have that? I even have Freddy... You know, I have never played any Five Nights at Freddy games, and I have Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. I have Ghostwire Tokyo. That's another one I wanted to play too. What else? I have Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's see. Yeah, and you know, I did promise C that I would play Little Goody Two Shoes with her sometime as a collab. So I'll have to talk with C a little bit about that and see if she'll come on and join us. I have Monster Hunter World. I have the Mortuary Assistant. I have some Nancy Drew games. I have Omori, Persona 4. Oh, Earth Defense Force. I'll have to look that one up. I don't think I have that one. Potions, A Curious Tale, Pineapple on Pizza. I have some Resident Evil games. Seventh Lair. Some of these games I don't even remember buying them. I have Stray as well. Tales of Arise. To the Moon. I have both Turnip Boy games. I'll look up Earth Defense Force. I don't think I don't have Subnautica. That is definitely a worthwhile one. I might get that at some point. Untitled Goose Game. I've been wanting to play that. And I have the Witcher games. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yeah. So I have a lot of games I want to get through. So here, let me see. I will look up EDF. Oh, so there's several Earth Defense Force games. Okay. Oh, and Subnautica just showed up in my featured and recommended. Okay, I will put that on my wish list to remind myself. Let's see. Where is the wish list? There. I'm not going to be able to buy that now, but at some point I might be able to. Yeah. Okay. That is a possibility for the future. Yes. So, yeah, and I'll look at EDF. I'll look into that. So, yeah, thanks for the recommendations. So I am going to wish you all a wonderful night. I'm going to keep track of that weird, how my response about how, yeah, thank you for coming, Giva. It's so good to see you here. You know, Giva, I'm always so impressed by the fact that you are a chair. You are like the coolest. People will VTube as a lot of different things, but I think the idea of, you know, streaming as a chair is so awesome. I think that's so cool. You know, when you're a chair, you know, you're a moment of peace for people who need to rest their weary feet. And people, I've never heard of anybody not liking a chair. You know, chairs are useful. That's okay. That's okay, LT. It's totally okay. You can always watch the VOD later, and right. A small taxing them a small portion of life energy. You know, it's fair. You know, you're offering a service. You deserve to be paid. So yeah. All right. Well, have a really good night, everybody. I'm going to try to get some sleep. I have some work to do tomorrow. And, yeah, we will see you. I will be back on Thursday doing another work session. Is there anybody we should raid? Let me see. Who's streaming right now? Do you think I should raid? Let's see. I'm going to go back to Twitch. Thank you so much. Ooh, you know what? Let's go to somebody pretty cool. We can. Why don't we go to Wheelie? Or no, you know, Kato. I like Kato. So let's raid Kato. So raid /Kato Gray. We'll go over to Kato. Kato's pretty cool. Oh, did that not work? Is it am I supposed to capitalize that? I always forget how to do that. Raid. Creator dashboard. Stream manager. Oh, I can do here. Raid. Ah, here we go. I will just raid. There we go. So we are going to... Right, I did the other way around. Oh, hi, Swimming. So we should be rating... Okay. We'll raid Kato because he's cool. /raid channel. Can I do that? There we go. All right. So have a good night, everybody. Take care. Bye.